Hello and welcome to the session on the Mandal Commission. India is a sovereign socialist democratic republic. In the preamble of our constitution, it is clearly stated that social, economic and political justice will be provided to all its citizens. The fundamental rights in the constitution emphasize the right to equality before law within the territory of India, prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, caste, race, sex or birthplace, equality on matters of public employment and abolition of untouchability. The directive principles of state policy clearly state that the state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people and also strive to minimize the inequalities in income and eliminate inequalities in status of the people of India. Promotion of educational and economic interest of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes and other sections of the people is also discussed in detail in the directive principles. There is also a special mention of appointing a commission to investigate into the conditions of the backward classes. India, being a vast country, has people from different caste and religion, which in simple words mean that the country is not socially homogeneous. In India, the Hindu society itself is stratified permanently. The caste system has rigidly divided the people into various birth-based categories. Many castes in the Indian society are placed advantageously and some disadvantageously. Certain castes have historically been ascribed the bottom place and have remained backward socially, economically, educationally and culturally. To confront such a spectacle, the Constitution of Indian government has come up with reservations for the disadvantaged groups, so called the backward classes. Under reservation fall subjects such as seats in the elective democratic bodies and educational institutions. The first backward class commission or the Kalelkar Commission, under a presidential order, the first backward class commission was set up under Article 340 of the Constitution of India on January 29, 1953 to uplift society's deprived sections. The commission was set up under the chairmanship of Sri Kakasaheb Kalelkar. This commission was an initiative to translate the guidelines that were suggested under Article 340 of the Indian Constitution. The main aim of the commission was to develop better system and to ensure that all the backward classes got thorough boost up so that they could lead a respectable life in the society. The commission also aimed at assessing the condition of these backward classes and helped them through a better support system for economic uplift. The commission planned to work for them to ensure that they could get best progress and respect in the society. The commission issued a questionnaire of 182 questions for eliciting the view of the government and the general public on various aspects of its inquiry. The commission also took initiative to make certain descriptions as parameter to measure the level of several such communities to assess their educational and social background. It also took extensive tour in the whole country to collect spot evidence of certain matters. After much sorting of the facts collected, the commission formulated the following criteria to identify the socially and educationally backward classes: low position in the traditional caste hierarchy of the Hindu society, lack of general educational advancement among major section of a caste or community, inadequate and no representation in government service, inadequate representation in the field of trade, commerce and industry. The commission prepared a list of 2,399 backward castes and communities in the entire country. Out of this list, 837 of them were considered as most backward class. The report gave different recommendations to the President on regular intervals which include the identification of socially and educationally backward classes of the Indian society and finding proper solutions for them, suggesting measures to resolve issues like lack of general educational advancements in particular sections, caste or community in the society. The recommendations also cover such fields as extensive land reforms, reorganization of village economy, Bhudan movement, cattle insurance, rural housing, public health, rural water supply, development of livestock, development of cottage industries, adult literacy, university education, representation of the backward class people in the government service, etc. The suggestions of the Kalelkar Commission were implemented in part through allocation of certain grants for the backward class for their social, educational, economic upliftment. The Kalelkar Commission encountered many disputes since the central government did not agree on few of its recommendations. The centre rejected it on the grounds that the Commission had not applied any objective test for identifying the backward classes. The government also thought that the Commission had classified a large sections of population as backward, and if special attention had to be extended to all these people, the really needy would not be benefited. After adoption of the Constitution, Kalelkar Commission report was the first national level inquiry to identify the backward classes in India. The report of course modified the Education Ministry's original list in the light of evidence collected by it, but it suffered from great flaws of methodology. Though the above failings were serious, the real weakness of the report lied in its internal contradictions. The position of a caste as higher, lower and superior or inferior was made on the basis of defining backwardness. In the view of the Commission, real social equality could be achieved in India only by eliminating caste distinctions and social discrimination. The Mandal Commission. It is obligatory for the Government of India to promote the welfare of the backward classes of the society according to Article 340 of the Constitution. The article talks about the appointment of a commission to investigate into the conditions of the backward classes as per the order of the President. Clause 2 of the article says that the commission so appointed shall investigate the matters referred to them and present to the President a report setting out the facts as found by them. Clause 3 states that the President will therefore present a copy of the report together with a memorandum explaining the actions to be taken and present the report before the Rajya Sabha as well as Lok Sabha. This article provided the constitutional legitimacy for setting up Mandal Commission. During the tenure of Morarji Desai as Prime Minister, the central government of India formed a second commission to uplift the backward classes through the establishment of Mandal Commission on 1st January 1979. The report was submitted in 1980. The commission appointed a multilateral approach to the collection of data in connection with its inquiry. It provided detailed questionnaire to all state governments, union territories and ministries and departments of the Government of India. To tender evidence, a large number of members from 6th and 7th Lok Sabha, state legislature, representatives of many voluntary organizations, members of public, etc. appeared before the commission. The terms of Mandal Commission were the following: to determine the criteria for defining the socially and educationally backward classes in India, to recommend various steps which will help for the advancement of the backward classes, to examine the desirability or otherwise for making any provision for the reservation of appointments or posts in their favor, to present a report in the view of the study carried out by the commission. Different techniques adopted by the Mandal Commission. The Mandal Commission noticed the defect of the first commission which was that they did not formulate any objective criteria for classifying the backward classes in the society. In view of this, the Mandal Commission took special care to tap a number of independent sources for the collection of their primary data. By following the techniques below, the Commission could cast its net far and wide and prepare a very dependable database for the report. Questionnaire for the state government. The state government was requested to provide information based on a questionnaire provided to them. The questions included the concept of the state government on social and educationally backward classes, their social status, steps to be taken for their welfare, their representation in the government services, their level of income, etc. Both the state and the union territories replied to the questionnaire. Questionnaire for the central ministries. The central ministries and the departments under them were requested to provide the same information. They were asked to supply details regarding the number and percentage of backward class employees employed in their organization. All the ministries, the departments and the subordinate offices furnished the information necessary for the Commission. Questionnaire for general public and voluntary organizations. Questionnaires were given to the public, voluntary organizations, social workers, etc. to understand their view on the backward classes in India. For tendering evidence, the Commission invited a number of representatives from different fields, eminent public men, journalists, sociologists, demographers, etc. Socio-economic field survey. The Commission constituted a panel of 15 experts under the leadership of Professor M. N. Srinivas and met in Delhi from July 16 to 20th of the year 1979. They made a set of schedules for preparing the design of the countrywide socio-educational field survey. Since the information they would get would be massive, it was decided to computerize the data to be processed. Case studies and special reports. The Commission engaged Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Bombay to undertake a case study of the 4 states, that is Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, in order to have a clear understanding of the local factors, social attitudes and prejudices of these states. This was done to avoid the rise of widespread protest and agitation that would take place in the name of reservations for the backward classes. Study of legal and constitutional issues. There has been a number of cases which has come in the Supreme Court and High Court regarding issues related to the reservation of post in government service, seat allocation in various institutes and other benefits of the backward classes. Since very important constitutional and legal issues had been discussed in these judgments, it was necessary for the Commission to duly consider these judicial pronouncements for formulating the recommendations in the report. For this purpose, the Commission engaged Law Institute of India, New Delhi to prepare a comprehensive report. Analysis of census data. To get an idea of social mobility among various castes, data were collected and analyzed on the basis of 1891 and 1931 censuses, since figures of caste-wise population are not available beyond 1931. Tours to different places by the Commission. In order to get first-hand information from various communities and sections of people from all over the country, the Commission undertook extensive tours to 84 district headquarters, 37 villages, etc. This information in response to the given questionnaire were systematically compiled, collated and analyzed. Then they were used in the relevant chapters of the report. Indicators for social and educational backwardness. Equality before law is a basic fundamental right guaranteed by the Constitution of India in Article 14. But there are always weak and strong sections of people among the society. The humaneness of a society is based on the degree of protection it provides to the weaker sections of its members. It is with this view that the makers of the Constitution made special provisions under clause 4 of article 15, clause 4 of article 16 and article 46 to protect the interest of SCs, STs and OBCs. Caste is an important factor in the identification of backwardness among Hindu communities. Backwardness must be both social and educational and not either social or educational. It has been nearly 100 years that provincial government in India have been implementing special programs for the welfare of the depressed and the backward classes. The first implementation was done by the Madras government by framing Grant in Aid Code in 1885 to regulate financial aid to educational institutions for backward classes. The next was the Mysore government and then followed by many other southern states. There were 11 indicators formed which were grouped under 3 different heads. The indicators for backwardness were tested against the various cutoff points. The 11 indicators were applied to all the castes covered by the survey for a particular state. The 3 broad heads were social, educational and economic. Social. Social indicators were given 3 points each. This head include those people from the caste or classes considered as socially backward by others, those which mainly depend on manual labor for their livelihood, and those people of caste or classes where at least 25% females and 10% males above the state average got married at an age below 17 years in rural areas and at least 10% females and 5% males do so in urban areas. Caste or classes where participation of females in work was at least 2% above the state average were also included in the social head. Educational. Educational indicators were given 2 points each. Certain aspects were taken into account to determine the factors in the cause named educational. Classes or castes were number of children under the age group of 5 to 15 years who never attained school or who were school dropouts, which was 25% above state average, came under this head. Caste or classes amongst whom the proportion of matriculates was at least 25% below the state average were also included under educational head. Economic. Economic indicators were given 1 point each. Certain aspects were also taken into account to determine the factors, including one major cause named economic, which was crucial for society's backward or forward approach. Some more factors which came into notice of this commission for the development were as follows. The people under OBC category were those who lived in the dilapidated kucha houses. The socially deprived groups were those having no sources of drinking water and forced to go half kilometer or more to fetch water. Major recommendations of the Mandal Commission. According to the Commission, the government should create proper rules and regulations to carry out their recommendations. Candidates belonging to OBC may get recruited on the basis of merit in open competition. In such cases of recruitment, it should not be adjusted against the reservation quota of 27%. This should be made applicable to the promotion also. Reservation quotas, if unfilled, should be carried forward for a period of 3 years and only then de-reserved. Relaxation in the age of OBC should be in the same manner as in the case of SCs and STs. A roster system should be kept for the OBCs as kept in the case of SCs and STs. All private sector undertakings which have received financial assistance from the government in one form or other should also be obliged to recruit personnel or the aforesaid basis. All the universities should follow the scheme of reservation. There is legal obligation to keep the reservations for SC and ST under Article 15 and 16 of the Constitution, which is below 50%. The Commission recommended reservation of OBCs as 27%. To compete with the students from the open quota, separate coaching should be given to the OBC students. Residential schools should be set up for OBC students interested in education. Government should implement adult education also. Seats should be reserved in all technical, scientific and professional institutions throughout India for the OBC students. OBC landless labourers should be provided with the surplus land as a result of the operation of sealing laws. Villages belonging to the OBC should be helped both financially and technically to set up small scale industries on their own. The Commission had tried to make the state-wise list of OBC as comprehensive as possible. The Commission suggested that the entire operation of its recommendations should be implemented for 20 years. These recommendations in total are applicable to all recruitments to public sector undertakings, both under the centre and state governments, and also to nationalized banks. Mandal Commission was submitted to both the Houses of Parliament on April 30, 1981. When VP Singh became the Prime Minister, he gave orders to implement a part of the recommendations of the Mandal report. Mandal Commission gave its report with detailed observation that 54% of the whole population without adding SCs and STs represented 3,743 castes or communities, and the social, economic and educational criteria kept them in backward category. Submission of Mandal Commission report in December 1980 revealed many facets of Indian society and its actual condition in terms of poverty and backward level. The report clearly indicated that OBC represented large chunk of population and their conditions were national issues which required proper solution to remove the mass poverty from the country. Although all recommendations of Mandal Commission haven't been implemented, most of them have already been implemented and some are under the implementation phase. Recommendation of this Commission for reservation in the government services for OBCs got implemented in 1993, while reservations in higher educational institute was considered for implementation in 2008. There were some arguments against these reservations of the Mandal Commission also. Some of the arguments are that reservation for OBCs are a form of racial discrimination and contrary to the right to equality. Quotas should be based only on economic hardships. The reservation policy will create huge unrest in the Indian society. Despite all these improvements made for the backward caste, the presence of caste would be still existing and administered officially. As a consequence of reservation for the OBCs, there would also start reservations for Christian and Muslim, which would be against the idea of secularism in India. The reservations meant for these backward communities would be made use of only by the economically sound people of these communities. Critics of the Mandal Commission argue that it is unfair to accord people special privileges on the basis of caste, even in order to redress traditional caste discrimination. They argue that those that deserve the seat through merit will be at a disadvantage. The compromising of merit for reserved communities may affect the standard of the educational institutes, says a few of those who are against the Mandal Commission. The autonomy of these educational institutes is also lost on account of this. Though these reservations exist for these classes, there would be no provision or efforts made to give proper primary education to truly deprived classes in this community. Let us summarize what we have discussed so far. The chapter discusses in detail the Mandal Commission, its report, the governmental decisions associated with it, and social and political implications following from them. To impart a historical perspective, the first commission for the upliftment of backward classes, the Kalailkar Commission, is referred. Module 2 of the chapter focuses on the background of Mandal Commission and its terms. The different techniques adopted by the Commission are then discussed in detail. The last module is about the major recommendations of the Mandal Commission. Now, you can try to answer the questions given here. What is Kalailkar Commission? What are the terms of the Mandal Commission? Which were the criteria to identify the socially and educationally backward classes according to the Kalailkar Commission? Which are the 3 indicators for the identification of social and educationally backward? Which are the major recommendations of the Mandal Commission? For further reading, you can go through the reference books given here. The Mandal Commission and Mandalization, a critic, S.R. Maheshwari, published by Ashok Kumar Mittal, Concept Publishing Company, New Delhi, 1991. Education and social upliftment of backward classes, at what cost and how, S.P. Agarwal and J.C. Agarwal, Concept Publishing Company, 1991. Hope that you have enjoyed this session. We will meet again with another topic soon. Thank you.